Good afternoon, Texans. My name is Michaela, and today here at Texan News Service, we are highlighting Women's History Month. Here I have Amberly Russell, and she's a veteran, and we're highlighting women veterans. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
So today I really want to talk about your military career and how leadership and how women can benefit from leadership. So first question, what was your career in the military?
So I joined the United States Army as a military police officer in 2000, and I was stationed in Germany with the 1st Infantry Division. So I was a military police officer.
What inspired you to join the military?
That's such a good question. So growing up, my two grandfathers were in the service, and one of them was in the Navy and one was in the Army. And I was really close to my grandfather who was in the Army. And he served as a military police officer on the DMZ in the Korean War. And for some reason, I was the grandchild that he told all of his military stories to. He didn't really share his military stories with all of us, and I have a huge family. So it felt really special to me that he chose me, for whatever reason, to tell me those stories. And in the year 2000, I had done a year of college, and it went pretty well, but I decided that I wasn't really ready to fulfill that degree, and that I wanted to go and do something exciting before I got locked into those 4 years. So I chose to go and join the Army.
So with hearing those stories, was there a certain vision that you had of the Army?
Yes, because he told me a lot of war stories, and because movies sort of depict a salacious type of violence regarding the military with showing a lot of violent images on TV and stuff like that. That is something that a lot of people really hone in on, I think, when they think about the military.
Exactly.
And sometimes they do not really understand the humanitarian aspects of the military. And so I had this picture in my mind of bombs dropping, you know, from Hollywood, just like kids do, because I was an actual kid when I joined the military. I mean, I was a teenager. But when I got into the service, I saw a whole different side of the military, and that was the humanitarian aspect.
So what about your career service that you, from now, really take from your day-to-day? Like, what part that you really recognize and that really sticks with you?
What a good question. Every day, in some way, I am gleaning from all of the lessons that I learned when I was in the Army. Every single day. Even at 42. I joined when I was 19, and still, even at 42, every day there are things that I take with me, things like in the workplace, teamwork.
Yes. And
how to handle stress. And understanding what real stress is, and understanding what is really life or death has been a godsend to me in my professional career, because sometimes people get worked up about things that are solvable. You know, everything is figure-outable.
Yes, yes.
Marie Forleo is a woman in business that I follow online, and she always says everything is figure-outable. And that's something that I learned in the military, and also how to make like split-second decisions when things are chaotic. And so right now I'm in marketing and events, sometimes really large events, and like Tarleton State does large-scale events, and so I'll be involved here in event planning and marketing for events. And when you do events on a large scale, things are constantly popping up in the moment. You can plan. You know, they say, man plans, God laughs. And that happens in events a lot. You know, you can plan for months for an event, but during an event, something's gonna happen. And you have things like crowd control, and you have, you know, serious incidences that occur, like concerts and things like that. Just little things like that. Well, actually, they're big things. Those types of skills are things from the military that I always carry with me.
So in your answer, you talk about real stress, and as college students, we deal with stress day to day with school assignments, juggling different orgs. So how would you describe real stress? Can you give us an example?
Well, I do not discount that in the day-to-day that students have real stress. And I think just because I have gone through some pretty life or death experiences early on in my life with the military, that doesn't mean that everybody's day-to-day stressors are invalid.
Right.
And I think that that's something that veterans have to learn when they get out of the military, is that other people's life experiences, just because they may not mirror yours in a drastic way, are still real and valid.
I love your answer. Love your answer. So as a woman who wants to seek a higher leadership role, what advice would you give them? Or just in a career field that's male dominant, like what advice would you give them?
It's gonna sound harsh, but don't let them pin you against each other. When you are in a male dominated field, sometimes females can get pulled apart. Never let that happen.
Right.
Never speak ill of a woman in front of other people that you work with. Go straight to that woman, face to face, and you work it out together. We have enough challenges as women rising in leadership to where we need to stick together as women.
Right.
And that is something that I would really say, if you're going into a male-dominated field, find your tribe of women, support each other. I would be nowhere without the really incredibly amazing and gifted women in leadership that I have in my life.
So previously you discussed that you dealt with life and death events in your early military lifestyle. What motivated you to stay in the military career?
Well, I wasn't a lifer, so I did my 4 years, and then I got out and went to school. I know a lot of people in the military that I served with are still in the military, and the thing that keeps us all there, or that led us there, is service to others. And service to others is something that my grandma taught me. My grandma Russel, may she rest, was an incredible woman. And she taught me from an early age that what we're here to do on earth is to serve others. And that service to others is above everything. And I think if you're gonna serve your country, that's one of the biggest ways to have that service to others, peace in your life.
Right. So with that service in mind, was there a woman in your platoon or company or anything like that that you looked up to and you idolized?
Yes. So I came away with our battle buddies. So for people who aren't in the military, when you go into the Army in particular, when you go into basic training, you're assigned a person, and that is your battle buddy. And incidentally, after that, everybody is called a battle buddy that you serve with, and it gets shortened to BAT. So I have a lot of BATs in my life, and 2 women in particular that I have just received so much support and inspiration from. And one is in Dallas, and her name is Rena, and she was an MP with me, and she was such a strong presence wherever she went. She inspired everybody to just rise to a level of the next level of excellence.
Right.
She was one of those women, she is one of those women who is constantly improving herself. She'll never stop learning, and she supports other women, which is, she's a part of my tribe that I told you need to find and hold on to in the military. And another one, her name is Gwen, and she's in Florida, and she was my battle buddy in basic training. And she's someone who's like a constant cheerleader in my life, and that's never stopped, and myself for her.
So as a woman, it may be hard to find friendships and finding that true sisterhood. What advice would you give, or what would you say that you should look for in a sisterhood?
Such a good question. You should look for someone who is good-hearted and kind, someone who seeks to see the best in others, someone who is grounded, but also a little wild.
Yeah. Right?
I mean, women are onions. We have layers,
Yes,
right?
we do.
You
Yes.
know, so when you're finding your tribe, just find that person that resonates with you. Everybody is different. Everybody's tribe looks different. And I would just suggest don't hesitate to reach out to people. You don't have to suffer in silence, especially if something is happening to you as a woman in the workplace, if you're being harassed, which, you know, happens in the military, and it happens out in the workforce when you get out of the military. You want to be able to find people that you can trust and that you can lean on, and that will be there for you not only in the good times when you're winning, but in the harder times when you're not winning. You know, when you're having challenges and you're having to scramble in your life, and like you're stressed out, and people are, you know, you want people you can be really real with.
Right, right. So my last question would be, how do you think you have contributed to military history, specifically women history?
There weren't a lot of women military police officers when I was an MP. I was in the 1st Infantry Division at a time before women could technically serve in the infantry. However, women have always served in the infantry, and we know that by history. It's just a technicality now that women are allowed to, because we always have. I was in the 1st Infantry Division. As MPs, we escort convoys, which means you're at the front and at the front lines. And so I lost my place.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. How do you feel like you contributed to women history, specifically in the military?
So because of that, what I was saying is that there weren't a lot of women MPs when I was a military police officer. And so I think just my contribution was being one of the first, you know, in the early days of like being a woman in the infantry, in the 1st Infantry Division. And I think, honestly, I'm struggling with this question because I feel I don't know. I feel I don't know how I've contributed. You know, it's such a good question that I honestly have never even contemplated how me as a woman, how have I contributed to military history? I think just being in the infantry, you know, and being a strong female in the infantry, serving right along with my brothers in arms, right up there, right with them, baton, gun in hand, you know,
right.
Whatever it is, shield, pencil, you know, there's all kinds of jobs in the military. But I think just stepping up and serving has probably made me a part of the history.
Definitely. Well, I want to tell you, for me personally, as someone who wants to seek a lifestyle, a career in the military, you definitely impacted me. Hearing your story and hearing that you're one of the first to serve in the infantry and first to be an MP, that's really impactful for me, especially because I want to be an officer, and there's very few female officers still to this day, and we're still making headway as the first Marine to get 2-star. I mean, that is, honestly, like truly, like really hearing your story really did warm my heart, and I'm really glad that we got to sit down. I hope all Tarleton Texans get to see this video and feel something in their heart for this, because it's something that I'm really passionate about, and I'm so glad we got to do this. So
I am too, and I just want to say thank you so much, and keep doing what you're doing, keep killing it. I see you on campus all the time representing for females in the military, and it's beautiful what you do, and you're such an inspiration to me as well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, Texans, if you want to see this video, please go to our YouTube channel, Instagram, and Facebook. Have a great day.